Greetings, this is August 5th at 1 p.m. and as I promised, I'm going to roll through those screens from the Canadian Wildlife Information System. But first, I want to take a look at the updated infrared from the beta system. Okay, here we're looking at the update that just came in at 12:30 p.m. We see a lot of isolated hotspots outside the fire perimeter. I'm seeing them on the west side. I'm seeing that one in Rattlesnake Hill still. So we'll take a look at the hotspot count. We've got 23,695 hotspots at this point in time, and the burned area is 131,210. Now that's not an official number, that's from this satellite calculation. So your official sources, you want to go to them, TNRD, and see what they're saying. But this is what we can see on this screen. So we can see those isolated hotspots on the western flank, on the northern flank, and we see several tossed out towards Tobacco Can and the gorge towards Dead Man River. I am seeing defensive infrared indication in that flank that's moving towards Vedette, southwest of Vedette. So fire crews are doing something in that area. Now you see that the hotspots are within the perimeter there. That means the perimeter has changed. This is what I'm using to produce these videos. This is from NCH Software. It's a pretty good system. It's kind of old school, and these are the screens that I'm looking at. So when we go do this overview, I want you to understand that if they're out of order and I jump from one area to another area, that's because sometimes it's a little confusing to look at dots on a green background. So let's get into it. This came in last night. This is from the Canadian Wildland Fire Information System. That's an overview. You can see that activity on the right hand side of your screen where there's fire spots, infrared spots encircling the approach of the fire southwest of Vedette. Now we're going to the south flank, southeast flank, and look, you can see many of those spots outside the fire line. So I'm going to let these screens run for about 20 seconds each. You please pause them. I know this is the data that's hard to access in the daytime, so I wanted to do this at 5 a.m. It's out of date, but you might get a better indication. Okay, it's going to start at Highway 99, Sea to Sky Highway, and it's going to travel up north, go all the way around, and then we'll come back and go over Loon Lake. So here we are, just east of Pavilion. And there's Highway 99. We're heading to the junction with Highway 97. This is the Hat Creek area. And there's the junction. I do apologize for that ticking you hear. That's the digital audio recorder. Okay, we're going to go north towards Clinton. And now we've zoomed into the Clinton area. And I want to remind you that this data is currently out of date. This occurred 12 to 6 hours ago, and in a wildfire situation, it's fairly dynamic. Things can move at the spur of a moment. Now we're going to move over to the Big Bar rest area. This is where the Drive BC highway cam is, and that looks in a northerly direction. Now we're looking at the mouth of the chasm directly north of Mound Loon Lake Road. We're going to pull back a little bit and see the northern flank on the northwest side. I'll vary this between 500 meters and 1,000 meters in order to fit as much in as possible with as much detail as possible. We are looking at the northern flank, about the middle of the section. You can see the drop off to the Bonaparte at the lower part of your screen. Now we're nearing the northeast flank. Again, this will zoom in periodically from 500 meters to 1,000 meters so that as much detail as possible is captured. Moving south around the Mount Grant area. I can see the top of Upper Loon Lake. There's Upper Loon Lake. I can see how strategically some of these bodies of water may fit into how they're fighting and how they may be used defensively. Flowing on that northeast section that's going towards the Dead Man River. And there's the end of it. We're between Brigade and Hamilton Creek. Brigade at the south end, Hamilton up in the northeast. Nearing Dead Man River, the canyon. This is where a lot of activity is going on right now. And I'll want to check back and see what developments have been made, how the infrared has changed. Okay, I'm just looking at the top of High Heam, between High Heam and Loon Lake. It's Old Scotty Creek. There it is, Old Scotty Creek, High Heam Road. There's that concentration south of High Heam. Moving further south, we can see Brousseau at the lower part of your screen. We're continuing to move south. We can see Clemis at the right hand side of the screen. Okay, now we're at Soton, Stinking Lake, Cultus Lake. We're going to move south again. We're heading towards the highway. I've pulled out a bit, zoomed out, so we can see a bit more of the area. And I remind you that ticking is the digital audio processor that's going to be with us. Okay, now we're looking at the area north of Thompson River, east of Cache Creek. This is the Cache Creek Hills area. Now we're going to move west on Highway 1 towards Cache Creek. And screen's going to change, and we will be looking back at the intersection of Highway 99 and Highway 97. Now we're going to travel up the Loon Lake Road. We've gone around, and now we're going to go through the middle. I've tried to make these screens connect, so we're going to go eastwards. Again, we're looking at the area around 3 Mile Lake, Alkali Lakes at this point, and we're going to move eastward along Loon Lake Road, where the junction is with Bonaparte River. We can see the western shore of Loon Lake. I'm sorry if I'm speaking softly. Looking at these screens, I develop a certain reverence for the area. And we've zoomed in now. Western shore of Loon Lake. Again, we're looking at infrared data as it appears in a slow pan of the region. Some screens you may not see any infrared data. Others have quite a number of infrared hotspots indicated. And this is data that was available in the period between 12 and 6 hours ago, provided by the Canadian Wildland Fire Information System. Okay, we're approaching the middle of Loon Lake. And you'll have more knowledge of the territory, the roads, than I will in your specific area. So that's why I'm going slow, because I'm not as familiar as you will be with some of these regions. Just trying to capture as many screens as possible while the system was available in the middle of the night. Okay, there's the eastern shore of Loon Lake between 12 and 6 hours ago. And this is only hotspot infrared data. This is not, I can't conjecture on what is fire, what isn't fire. This is only satellite points that were gathered during a certain period of time. The experts on the ground and the people at the TNRD, the people at Loon Lake, they're going to have more information than I do. Okay, now we're at the region between Loon Lake and Upper Loon Lake. We're going to head north. We're going to go past Mount Grant, back up to the Bonaparte. That's Rayfield up in the top right screen. Now we're going to head west again on the northern flank. That's Fly Creek. We're heading west. This is the Green Timber Plateau. And I apologize for those clicks again. It's the digital audio processor. Now we're at the northern flank next to the chasm. Those are the Twin Creeks. In the middle of the screen, east and west. Now we can see the chasm on the left hand side of the screen, and you can see the terrain at the bottom of the screen drop down to the Bonaparte. The highway 97 is in the top left hand portion of the screen. Now we pulled back a little bit. We can see the highway and the Chasm Park. In the top right is the Chasm Ecological Reserve. We're traveling south now along Highway 97, and on the left hand side of the screen, that's the Big Bar rest area where we're getting a lot of those cam shots from Drive BC. We're looking at Big Bar. We've zoomed in. This is the area where the cam is from Drive BC. The camera looks north from this position. We've zoomed in and we're going to head southwest to Clinton. And the scale on the map will change occasionally from 500 meters to 1,000 meters in order to fit as much territory in as possible. Now we're looking at the Alkali Lakes, Hart Ridge area of Highway 97, heading southwards. And now we're heading south of Scotty Lake Road Junction, Loon Lake Road Junction, towards Highway 99. And there's the intersection and Highway 99, Sea to Sky Highway. I'm just zooming into the intersection. This is so that you can see some of the scale. Now we're going to go back over to Cache Creek. primarily to show you the scale and do a full circle of the region. We've done more or less a figure eight. Now we're looking at Highway 1, east of Cache Creek. Thompson River is south of this position. There's the Thompson River at the lower portion of your screen. Again, this is so you can examine where individual infrared hotspots were picked up in a period 12 to 6 hours ago from the Canadian Wildland Fire Information System. And we'll finish off here at Juniper Beach and east of Cache Creek. So I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for enduring some of the audio and background noise. I wanted to make these screens available to you so that you can get an idea of what the area looks like when we can zoom in and see some of the terrain and see some of the backcountry roads and some of the lakes. Oftentimes if we look at a single page with the entire map on it, it can seem all-consuming, and this may give you a better idea of how diverse the wildfire is. It's not one big clump. It's individual pockets. Some areas are more affected, some areas are less affected, and again, the situation changes. It is a wildfire, and I'm going to go back and look at any updated satellite information that's coming in and keep you informed. And I appreciate all your comments. We're in this together, so do be safe out there, and do refer to the TNRD websites and BC Wildfire for the most accurate information. Thank you.